координациональных доменах.
We are ready to start our next session dedicated to new marketing techniques and development trends and ccTLDs. We have several speakers here in the room and also online. Leonid, Todorov, Sergey Grebennikov, Yudho Giri from the Indonesia registry, Vadim Krasnovsky representing the Belarus national domain, Anna Karakhanyan from ISOC AM, Alexey Goncharov from the Serpantin advertising agency. Everyone is ready? Very well, and the slides are on the screen.
One clicker.
And the clicker.
Для начала, для затравки, я хочу показать несколько.
So, in order to open our session, I would like to show you several slides that I borrowed from Matthew Zuknik's presentation. He talked about the registration trends at the ICANN 77 ICANN conference in June this year. And this is a chart that he showed. That's the number of domains registered around the world, starting from 1999 until 2023. What am I doing wrong?
На процентное соотношение долей.
However, if you look at percentages of the domain names registered in 2017 and 2023, you can see that the share of ccTLDs in those years declined by 4%. This is the red segment on the chart. ccTLDs in 2017 accounted for 43% of all TLDs, and they made up only 39% of the total market in 2023. We also see that from 2014, the share of ccTLDs versus the total number is slowly declining. You will say that country domains are all different. There are some that use the classical model of the ccTLDs. There are some domains that act more like gTLDs. There are domains that considerably revised the registration policies, which led to surges and reductions in registrations, like in China, when they implemented registration using the passports, we saw a threefold decline. But even if you filter out all these unusual country code TLDs, but and if you leave only the classical ones in this line, you will be able to see that, yes, the ccTLDs are growing, but they are growing at a slower rate than gTLDs, and the rate of growth is diminishing. I hope that at this session we will be able to discuss the experience of our panelists. What do they observe in their own countries? Can they agree with this analysis? And is there anything that we can or want to do in order to break this trend?
Я попрошу начать Сергея Гребенникова, директора RAEC.
I will ask Sergey Grebennikov to be our first speaker. He is director of RAEC. Sergey, the floor is yours. You have 9 minutes. I will let you know when you are about to exhaust your time. Irina, thank you for introducing me. My name is Sergey Grebennikov. I'm a director of RAEC. That RAEC is one of the oldest Russian institutions that has been making information technologies popular. There's been raising awareness of IT. And now I would like to give you an overview of present-day RUNET. Every year we run a study of RUNET economics. It's the only study of its kind in Russia. And my slides are not moving. Why aren't they moving? Okay, finally. 1 year ago, we forecasted that RUNET growth rate will be only 11%. It will slow down, but fortunately, we were proven wrong, and in 2022, the RUNET economy went up 29% on 2021, and in ruble equivalent, this is more than 12 trillion rubles. We grew on the basis of two markets, e-commerce, infrastructure, and telecommunications. And the domain market makes part of the infrastructure segment. Marketing and advertising and digital content suffered the most losses. All the main movie industry companies and gaming companies left Russia, but we're still optimistic about 2023, and we expect the RUNET economy to grow yet again. The infrastructure segment amounts to 300 billion rubles. It grew by 47% on 2021, which is a significant amount. I believe that we have never recorded such a high growth rate ever before. The main trends that we observed is that the price of internet access is the lowest anywhere in the world, one of the lowest anywhere in the world. The speed continues to grow, but the speeds here are not as high as in the leading countries. The cloud services market is expanding. There is greater demand for cloud services. As to the infrastructure and telecom segment, we analyze four main segments of the market: the segment of SaaS, infrastructure, domains, and hosting. The domains market in 2022 lost a little bit. It lost 5% of its share because foreign companies stopped servicing .ru and .rf because no transactions are possible. Banking transactions. I don't know if you're discussing this issue at the forum, but it would be great if foreign companies could continue paying for the domains in the Russian language segment. Hopefully, this will be enabled sometime in the future, and .ru and .rf will become again available to all users around the world. One of the key factors from last year is what I've already mentioned, the dropping of the .ru domains by some actors, but we expect the situation to change. We believe that .ru, .rf are going to accelerate in their development, not only because some social media exited Russia, and when we analyzed the domains market, we knew that one of the main competitors of the websites are social media, because many of the smaller companies, small medium businesses switched to social media from websites. So speaking about forecast for 2023, we understand that growth will be substantial. It will be about 29%. We will surpass the 15 trillion rubles in cash equivalent. Of course, these numbers will be achieved if the input substitution program in action today is fully implemented, and if there are no problems with the small and medium businesses receiving their support, and then these forecasts will be quite achievable. We study not just the numbers, but our experts forecast the trends for the next year and the next 3-4 years. So we do research in several areas: technology, economy, the industry, state, and society. Today, the government, the state has a lot of impact in all processes in information technology sphere and in the internet. We understand that there are now more government-run projects that are financed heavily. And in the state segment, we see that much emphasis is put on education of IT personnel. At every conference, we keep repeating that we still do not have enough IT personnel. We fought piracy for a long time, but because foreign companies left Russia, we see piracy coming back. This is the society segment, and not only music or movies are pirated, but also software. It means that our devices, our computers, are no longer protected, and users may be facing considerable problems from the perspective of information security. In the technology block, of course, generative artificial intelligence, um, uh, drones, biometry, and other trends. I mean, the technologies are not standing still, and they will develop in Russia too. In terms of industry, here the key players, the new emerging key players are Yandex, VK, Avito, and Telegram, and of course marketplaces. I think that one of the key competitors of the websites will be marketplaces. So all the small shops, small vendors, it's not cost efficient for them to promote their services or products, and that's why they use marketplaces for promotion of their business. So what the domain industry is going to do about it, it's a big question mark. Now, who is the main driver of the national domain area or zone? It's small and medium businesses, agencies, studios. At RAEC, among our club members and association members, we have a lot of representatives of the small and medium business. So we invite everyone to join RAEC and participate in our events and conferences. You know that RAEC hosts many industrial activities. We organize the Russian Internet Week, the RUNET Award, the Russian Internet Forum. So together with .ru.rf ccTLD, who are our long-standing partners, would like to thank them for it. We organize many different activities with the assistance of the government and other associations. The idea is that the ccTLD is our everything. As to information security, one of our projects is called a digital dictation. On the 26th of September, we'll be launching next stage in this project. Coordination Center is our partner in this initiative. The digital dictation is the greatest event in Russia to test personal level of digital literacy of everyone who attends this test. It's a test, basically. So our idea is also to go to the CIS countries. I know that there are colleagues from Armenia and other regions present at the conference. So if you are interested in organizing a digital dictation in your country, you can contact us. We can share our methodology with you, and we can share our platform with you too. I will finish my presentation at this point. I would like to listen to others to see what the regions and countries are doing in order to support that domain industry. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sergey. Are there any questions to Sergey? Either from the floor or from our virtual audience? If not, then I will continue with the series of presentations, and if time permits, at the end of the session, we are going to collect questions from the audience. Now, I'd like to give the floor to Leonid Todorov with APTLD. So, Leonid, what are the trends that you witness in your region. Yes, thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yes. Can we have the slides on the screen, please? Oh, perfect. Perfect. Can you see it? Or can you make it bigger? No, it's all right. Please let us know when we need to move to the next slide. Okay, the Asia Pacific region is too big to talk about regional trends because it includes the Middle East, which is a very special region. It includes Asia, which is all very diverse. There are islands in the Pacific Ocean, which are a thing in themselves. And then there is Australia and New Zealand, which are totally unrepresentative just because for a long time they have built their own peculiar market. There is another approach to APTLD. There are the huge countries like Australia, China, India, Japan, Korea, and then there are small, very small registries in the region. Another thing that makes APTLD registries different from the European ones and makes them similar to the African ones is that it's very difficult to get data. You can see that our sample is quite small, the sample on the trends in the field of registration. Still, some empirical conclusions can be drawn. During the pandemic, everyone was growing. You can see it on the chart. Everyone grew quite confidently. And then this confident growth was replaced by this a dramatic decline in indicators after the pandemic was over. And then it all plateaued. It stabilized. So it all comes to its circles. When Irina quoted from Matthew Zook's research, his numbers were quite illustrative. ccTLDs did not recover after the emergence of new GTLDs. They could not compete also with the old GTLDs, especially they couldn't compete with .com. We understand it clearly, and there is another feature that has already been brought up here is the dominance of social media in the Asia-Pacific region, regardless of the sub-region, actually. Social networks play a tremendous role. And since this is a young region, it has a lot of young population. The youngsters prefer social networks, but that's just one of the reasons. Next slide, please. We tried to analyze our small sample. You can see it here. We wanted to understand how the giants are feeling and the tiny ones too. The giant registries are the ones that have in excess of 300,000 registrations, and the rest we can take them to be small registries. It may look like a paradox, but small registries grew on average faster than the giants. This requires an explanation, but we did not dig deep enough here. With our analysis, it would require additional effort and surveys to uncover this explanation. But as to the big registries, .id, the Indonesia domain, and the Australian domain .au demonstrated significant growth in recent times. .id, Yudho Giri will be speaking at the session. Probably he'll give you more details. I think it's a very interesting case and a very informative one for other ccTLDs. As to Australians, you have to appreciate it. It's a mathematical trick. In the past, registrations were available only at the third level domains. For the third level domains, then the AU registry migrated to registration of the second tier domains. Certain actions were taken in order to prevent the outflow of legitimate registrants who have long been using third tier domains. So the mechanics was quite intricate. They had to organize migration to the second tier domains. And because of that, they added 700,000 domains in a short period of time, which is a significant number for such a relatively small country as Australia and for such a big domain as .au. But this case has already been discussed at various ICANN meetings. I mean, you can find this data, this information easily. It's in the public domain. With exception of China, I have not seen any increase in interest to new GTLDs in other countries, but we see that ccTLDs market share is about 50, maybe 51%. As to how successful they are, well, it's a big question mark. Some may say that 50% is a huge market success. Some will consider this to be a market fail. But ccTLDs still can and will have to work harder to win back the market at some significant rate. I'm in Thailand at the moment, and you can see here that small businesses prefer .com. The bigger businesses are more patriotic. The big national chains, they prefer .ch, the national domain. The private individuals, and this is my personal subjective experience, but they seem to fall within the two categories, and it's hard for me to say which one is bigger. Another thing that is repeated but remains a mantra, unlike Europe, where ccTLD's concentration of domains versus the total population, like per 100% persons, is about 10% higher in Asia Pacific, remains the unsown field for very creative ideas to promote national domains to ensure their growth. I try to discuss this with ccTLD managers from different regions. They have their perspectives, but ZOC 2, in fact, has the R-square analysis results. And judging by these results, there are certain significant factors, and then there are variables that do not play an important role. He identifies these factors, he spoke about them. It's an interesting topic that requires further consideration, but let's just agree that it's a huge region, 4 billion people with enormous potential for growth, and still it didn't have any growth and still doesn't have much growth in the ccTLDs. Prices. Again, the slide speaks for itself. ccTLDs in Asia Pacific, even against the background of quite a low demand, they maintain prices that are higher than in Europe. Of course, you can refer to competition in Europe. In addition to national domains, there is also the .eu regional domain. Maybe it is a factor, but maybe what matters is significant transactional operational costs in the region. It's an open secret, really, that many ccTLD managers they still handle the domain applications manually. The division of labor is not very efficient. Still not clear how many people those registries employ. Even a whole number of registries is either units of big telecom companies, or they are associated with some government agencies like the Ministry of Telecom or regulators. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You've got 1 minute left. Oh, okay. 1 minute. Got it. Got it. Then next slide, please. Next slide. It's not my fault. Or is this the last slide? I can't see it from here. Anyway, we are monitoring the situation. It's changing, but there's much I can report on the dynamics in the region. Thank you. Thank you very much, Leonid. I understand that it's very late in the night for you, but thank you for being with us. Do we have any questions to Leonid here? No? Leonid, please stay with us. If you would like to, maybe at the end of the session, we will have some time for additional questions and answers. If not, then not. In any case, it's a pleasure to see you today. Thank you for being with us. Yes, yeah, I just need to apologize. I need to say goodbye to you because tomorrow I'm flying out to APTLD conference. So my apologies. I will see some of you very soon. Good evening to you all. Thank you. Do we have Yudho Giri online? It's a pity. It's a pity. Would be very interesting to hear about the Indonesia domain experience. Then our next speaker is Vadim Krasnovsky from Belarus. Yes, please.
Здравствуйте, зовут меня Вадим.
Hello, my name is Vadim, and I would like to thank the organizers. A lovely place, a lovely city, great venue, a beautiful region. It's my first time at this conference, so once again, I'm very grateful for your invitation. Hoster.by for 10 years was the voice of the Belarus internet. For 10 years, we were the technical administrator of the domain area between 2010 to 2022, actually more than 10 years. And during that period of, we considered this to be not a duty of order, but rather a mission. It was very important for us to develop BINET, and we didn't need any formal or official status to do it, and that's why we continue doing it. Today, every year, we prepare reports and analytics on the national zone, and the most important thing is the events that we organize. The IGF that my colleagues have already announced today. We organize IT Fridays and workshops on information security and protection of personal data. Sorry. Between 2010 and 2022, we organized auctions that gathered about $1 million in donations, and the money went to orphanages, 12 children's orphanages in Belarus. We continue with our charity practices on the 12th of May when we celebrate the birthday of the ccTLD.by. All the money collected from registrations, about $2,000 from our current new customers, were also channeled into charity projects. We believe this to be an important and integral part of our operations. Several years ago, at one of our events, we decided to make a gift of T-shirts of our merch to all our guests. And together with designers, we basically rediscovered these two archetypes. .by, it's sysadmin, the owl, and for Bell, it's Белка, Белочка, a squirrel.
Что удивительно, на протяжении еще нескольких лет после этого мероприятия на других...
And several years after this event, at other events, we still met people in those T-shirts. They keep wearing them. It means that they all attended that particular event, this conference. And this eagle owl, several years ago, actually, we inaugurated a virtual monument to a sysadmin, this eagle owl. This led to lots of memes and sticker packs. And this virtual monument is still standing in the city of Minsk. So that's the ccTLD, the National Domain Zone. Now, speaking about our marketing activities, let's start with a case of a fail. We always are searching for new creative solutions. Hopefully, next year I will be reporting about our successes during this year. So we had this idea. If you remember, some time ago, it was pretty fashionable to give land plots on Mars as gifts. So a domain, we thought, well, why not gift a domain? It's not a very useful thing, just like a plot of land on Mars, but why not? Let's try it. We tried it. It lasted, this activity, this promotional activity lasted for several months. Do you know how many domains we registered during this promotional activity? 5, 4, who said 2? You won. Vladislav bought one of them, actually, my colleague. Which one? Which one was it? Which one was it? Шеремет отбил. It was a gift. Well, anyway, that was our experience. We were not discouraged, to tell you the truth.
Да, мы можем продать.
Yeah, we were not discouraged. And yes, you can still buy a gift certificate from us. Is there a term? I think it's a 1 year. I think it's 1 year. Well, if you extend them to eternity, I mean, if they would be for life, or remind people that the certificate is about to expire. Right. Anyway. Well, some time ago, we decided to offer a baseboard site together with a domain. The customers come to us, they don't have any money, they've just started their business, they can't pay to an agency to design their website, so they register the domain with us, and then they get this baseboard site, they add their logo, they fill out a couple of fields, and they can start immediately generating leads in the internet. And this worked. we acquired about 5% conversion rate into domain purchases, which is a wonderful result, and we intend to continue with this promotion. It also worked with food, not just a domain, but a domain. This promo lasted for only 2 days, and we had 5 times more registrations than usual. And it's not like we exceeded the capacity of the market. No, when the promotion was over, it all got back to the regular normal level. So what actually works? We are planning for the long run. We are all in favor of cooperation, communication with our clients. Every week, every month, we organize educational activities. We provide seminars, workshops. We train businesses on personal data protection, information security in general, and one of activity impulse purchases. It may not necessarily work out, but for instance, maybe it will work for you. Maybe we did something wrong. So if someone wants to replicate this experience, or maybe if you have your own domain gift certificates and they work for you, we would be very happy. And again, we are looking forward to seeing you on November 15th in Minsk. Do come to our conference, please. Thank you very much, Vadim. Any questions or comments?
Подумаем.
The question is off the microphone and can't be translated. Thank you. Then let's now travel to the sunny Armenia. Anna?
Почему я, значит, выбрала такой первый кадр, чтобы вообще понять, ну вот нужен он нам, этот домен. Нет, все-таки нужен. 16 веков уже существует алфавит армянский.
The Armenian alphabet, Armenian script, has been around for 16 centuries. That's why I decided to use this as the main topic of my presentation. I'm not going to read everything that's on the slide. Please read it yourselves, but do it later. Because indeed, the vocabulary, and it's something that I learned as I was preparing the presentation myself, the vocabulary of the Armenian language is 350,000 words, while the Oxford Dictionary counts with only 170,000 words. There are many synonyms in the Armenian language, and Armenians are jealous about borrowings from other languages. We know that the internet, for instance, usually is translated differently, is not translated, but in Armenian, the internet is homotsans. Coffee is not coffee, but such. Souvenirs are not. We do not use the word souvenir for it in Armenian language. Besides, our alphabet is a very stable construct. There were only 3 revisions to the alphabet. In the 11th century, 2 letters were added, and in 1940, a separate letter that was previously written with 2 letters was registered. And this is the longest Armenian word. It's not a sentence, it's a phrase. It's a phrase. It means rays of the sun that illuminate everything around. And we have one word to describe the phenomenon in the Armenian language. Do you know, I can't even pronounce the word. Let me read it. No, I'm sorry, I can't read it. I can't even read it. But I registered this domain, 35 letters in total.
памятник армянским буквам. 39 букв, каждая буква...
There are 39 letters, and there is a monument to the Armenian alphabet where every letter is are made out of tufa. This is our history of relations with a national IDN in the Armenian language. What are the benefits of using IDN domains? We have already discussed that. There are people who do not speak English. Well, of course, the younger generation, almost everyone speaks English. In the past, school children did not know English, but the elders, senior citizens, very few of them speak English. On the other hand, they do not use the internet much. But billboards, for instance, you pass billboards by car, but I remember seeing this at BY and Bell in Belarus cemetery. I remember it was one of your cases when if you want to write cemetery, you don't know how to write it. What's the first letter? Is it C? Is it S? But Marstos, for instance, the name of the founder of the Armenian alphabet, Misrob Mashtots, you can write in several different ways in English, but in Armenian there is just one way to write that name. Besides, the Armenian diaspora will have more opportunities to use their native language if there are domain names with within the Armenian domain zone. All state institutions received our IDN free of charge. I was responsible for this project. I remember how it all happened. The Ministry of Transport and Telecom sent us a long list of government agencies. I registered all of them, and not everyone used the IDNs. So I called some of the agencies that requested an Armenian ID, and they never used it. Some are redirecting, some are maintaining standalone websites within the Armenian domain zone. Then some celebrities also received an IDN from us free of charge. The athletes, director of the American University. We organized beautiful ceremonies for all of them, and then we organized a survey. There is a link to the survey on the slide to see whether people are aware of of Armenian the Armenian IDN. We organize competitions too. Some of them are annual competitions. In 2018, the winner also received an Armenian IDN free of charge. In June, one of our registrars also gave out free adult high domains, and another registrar sold .am for a fee and offered .high free of charge. If you look at this chart, you will see an explosion of registrations. We had only 300 .high registrations before that promotional activity, and then it went up to 1,000 registrations. Our PR unit
поставили, фотографировали, чтобы просто объяснить вообще, что
Yeah,
тут.
we organized a public activity in one of the squares of the city. Also, as part of the reggaeton, Marsha spoke at the reggaeton. We invited the chairman of the Armenian Language Committee in order to engage again VIPs and celebrities into the process. We also celebrated 5 years of .hi, and we awarded prizes for the best design and the best Armenian content. And we also communicate with wiki.hi, it's Armenian Wikipedia. They help us, helps them. Every month, the number of articles on wiki.hi growing. And this year, we had a break of our employees registry launched a pilot project. In the past, email addresses in ASCII were registered on the left. Now we have a fully Armenian domain, and you can write your name from left to right or from right to left. The dot in Armenian language, the dot, it's a semicolon actually. A semicolon is also used as a dot. It's a tiny rhombus, really, a diamond. And this creates a certain inconvenience, but it's inconvenient only on the Windows, Linux too. But Apple, I don't know how they do it. In Apple, I don't have to change fonts. I start writing in Armenian. I use the dot, and I do the same on my phone, and it works with Apple products. I don't know how they did it. Microsoft, maybe we need to talk to Microsoft about it. It's not one of their priorities. I appreciate that. But maybe one day we'll be able to convince them that it's important. Well, this year was the year of universal acceptance. We hosted a regional conference in Yerevan. We organized a training. We enjoyed it. We did everything we wanted. We achieved our goals. And we talk about .hi everywhere. We talk about .hi on TV. Christina is she attends all news programs, talks to all news anchors. We talk and talk and talk about .hi. In October, one more competition will be finalized. It will be a competition of videos as kids aged under 16. I mean, you have to engage them because their perspective is quite refreshing. Some of their ideas absolutely crazy, but they work. This is the last slide of my presentation, but probably the most important one. These are the numbers, and they are quite intriguing. They require further analysis. Out of 1,013 national IDN domains, 838 were registered from Armenia. But from other countries, and there are 18 countries in total, 175 domains in .hi were registered. They're not always Armenians. We have one registration from the Czech Republic and one from the Faroe Islands. We also counted how many registrations were made out of Yerevan, the capital of the country, 511. But here is another curious number. Out of 1,013 IDN domains, 796 were registered by individuals. It's something that needs analyzing. We need to understand why this is happening. And in 2019, I made a similar presentation containing the same statistics, and I did analysis and comparison with 2023. I see that businesses now have more domains. To the name IT, virtually the same number of IDNs and IT sphere. Government institutions, the number has grown, but it's not like it's their will or anything. It's mandatory for them. The registry, we also registered several for our own needs, so no changes there. Banks, they register an IDN, but they never use them for the website. Probably they are just protecting their names in this fashion. Education, the same number, almost did not change. But media, for some reason, media are not registering IDNs. I don't know why. And websites, the number of websites has gone up, even without a redirect. For instance, the Armenian president, the Armenian language website is on a separate domain. It's not redirected from neither Russian or English domain versions.
Ну, работают. У всех есть, не так, что сидят, у всех и сайты есть, и все. Да, и еще под конец, что хотела сказать.
And another thing, Irina, when you showed all the ccTLDs, it's not about us. That's not us. The majority, the absolute majority, maybe because of the advertisement, ccTLDs.com, we don't see as many registrations there as we have in .am, but .hi requires more support. Anna, thank you very much. Any questions to Anna? Any comments, any remarks from the floor? We still do not have Yudho Giri connected. That means that I'm going to pass the floor to Alexey. And then we'll have a general discussion.
Добрый день. Добрый день, меня зовут Алексей. Я основатель и руководитель агентства Serpantin.
Hello, my name is Alexey. I'm the founder and manager of the Serpantin advertising agent. We have three main types of activities. We talk about domains, and you see that we've got two different domains, or three rather different domains for all of our three projects. The first one is actually the agency. We are 911 for the event manager and marketing managers. We are a 911 service. We help them solve all the problems in printing. Our other line of business is books, small run books and premium packaging, articprint.ru, and our third project is ruchki.rf. It's a souvenirs store.
Так, что-то... Все мы наблюдаем, что со временем, в последнее время у нас снижаются печатные объемы, печатается меньше книг, рекламных.
You know that printing is in decline. There are few printed materials around souvenir products too, and mostly We promote ourselves online and we communicate with our customers and suppliers online as well. So there's less and less paper in our hands, but not just the materials are disappearing, but we too are all online. We talk to our partners and colleagues over Zoom, and of course, the pandemic enabled much of this functionality, capabilities, and although the technologies these days are very much advanced, still the screen doesn't enable good sharing of emotions. It means that we need to maintain emotional connections to our partners and colleagues, and it's just not possible to share our emotions online because we have less and less printed merchandising. People choose individualization and personalization. Like Vadim showed in his presentation, the merchandising that's made specifically for an event is very much appreciated. And fortunately, there are now more technologies that enable personalized gifts. All participants here received a set of postcards, and they were individualized. We received from the organizers a list of all participants, and we prepared individualized gifts to all of them. Today, technology allows us to do it quite fast. Oh, and that's it. That was my last slide, actually. I didn't expect to come to an end so fast. Sorry. Now I forgot how many slides my presentation contained, but thank you anyway for listening. Right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Masha? The question is off the microphone and can't be translated.
Из вашего опыта. Ну, я не знаю, как примеры какие привести, как раз
From your experience, I don't know which examples to give you, but maybe you have some cases that come to your mind. Since we are all shifting online, maybe the souvenir producing manufacturing agencies, maybe you can come up with some online souvenirs? Do you want me to lose my job, you mean? No, I mean personalized, individualized online souvenirs. Well, I'm not the most creative person, and I'm a very analog guy. You know, even making purchases online for me is something from a sci-fi story. But yeah, I guess I mean there are NFTs and stuff. I mean, you can or augmented reality, for instance. I think it's something that you can use as a souvenir. Something you can create some physical carrier medium, and then the users will be able to point their cameras on their phones onto this carrier and see something unusual, something peculiar, something special, maybe. Oh, okay. I can see that one other participant of this session is joining us, Yudho Giri Sucahyo,
Hi, Irina.
the registry.
Hi.
Oh, it's a pleasure to see you.
Hi, Irina. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for
The floor is yours.
just finished teaching. So can I start my slide? Can I start my presentation?
Yes, please. Yeah, very welcome.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So it is an honor for me from Indonesia to be able to share in TLDCON 2023 so that I can share our experience in promoting the national domain of Indonesia. In this case, our domain name is actually .id. So the name of the organization is PANDI, and we have at for now 13 second level domain. And we are the country code top level domain for .id. starting managing domain.id since 2007. And we have so far 27 accredited registrar. And since October 2021, we are currently, the number of our domain name is actually the highest in Southeast Asia. Only Southeast Asia. It's not easy to beat China in the number, in the name for the number of domain. So fortunately, our domain name .id, we can also think it as an identity or an idea or international domain, or could also be interior design. So it's a blessing for us to have name.id, because it can be anything like identity, idea, and so on. So at the moment, we have 784,000, nearly 785,000 active domain as per 12 September 2023, just checked a couple of hours ago. And market share between .id and .com, the number of .com in our country is still higher than the number of .id, but we do hope that at the end of this year, we can surpass the number of .com, so that we can say that .id is actually number one in Indonesia. So our tagline is actually expressing your freedom, means that everyone can use .id domain name to express their business, personal, and also organization. So this is the chart that we took from APTLD. As you know that if we are the member of APTLD, APTLD provides services for us to know the number of the statistical of any other domain name. So in this case, we only took for the Southeast Asia. And as mentioned before, that we have services.vn, Vietnam, and you can see that for .my, which is Malaysia, or .sg, Singapore, and .th, Thailand, is actually rather stagnant. I mean, their growth is actually not as fast as .id, which is why at this moment, we want to share our experience, why our growth is actually significantly above others in the number of domains. So here is the market share between .id and .com since 2019. In 2019, the number of .id market share is only 26% among domain name in Indonesia, while .com is actually 61%. But increasingly in 2020, 2021, 2022, the gap is actually getting reduced and reduced. And we really want that at the end of this year, we can bypass the number of .com in Indonesia. And if that happens, then we can say that actually .id is always at the top of mind of Indonesian people if they think about domain name. So why we can achieve the good growth like that is simply we cannot do it alone. So we always collaborate with our registrar, and we also collaborate with other stakeholders from the education sector, village sector, business sector, and also indigenous language, because in Indonesia we have more than 600 indigenous language, so that although we are currently still do not have IDN, internationalized domain name, but we are intensively discuss with ICANN so that in the near future we can have IDN, because in Indonesia we have more than 30 non-Latin characters that we can also use it as IDN to increase the number of domain name in Indonesia. Other than that, we also have application platforms such as s.id for the URL shortener. At the moment, people used to use the bit.ly or other URL shortener, but nowadays in Indonesia, more and more people actually they use s.id as our shortener, and u.id is actually for the single sign-on, and my.id is actually we can use for the my identity. So here are our second level domain, general anything.id. For personal usage, we have the My ID. For bloggers, we have web.id, although the number of bloggers is actually getting decreasing right now with the existence of the social media. For the companies, we have co.id. For the SMEs, we have peace.id. For the academics, we have the AC, school, SCH. And for the theological or religious school, we have the Ponpes, that's for the Islamic boarding school. Net.id is actually for the ISP, and or.id is actually for the organization. Other than that, there are 3 second-level domain maintained by the government. In this case, desa is actually the Indonesian word for village. It maintains by the government, and then go.id also maintained by the government. So they have their own registrar, although the registry is still PANDI.id. And we also have MIL as actually for the military. So challenges is actually, we have the number 1 is actually social media. As you know that Indonesia is actually one of the biggest market for the social media or e-commerce platform. In 2045, Indonesia will be the 5th biggest country for the internet market. So for those of you who actually wants to expand your business, you can also look at Indonesia because we have the market. We have more than 200 million people. And although we still have the digital divide, but more and more people getting the literacy, the digital literacy. So they use the mobile phone to get food. They use the mobile phone for the online transportation, etc. And campaign is actually important for the domain name. So we also have campaign. We also do some campaign that domain name is not just a website, but it's also related to trademark. At the moment, we are actually have a talk with the GoDaddy for the brand protection, etc., and also collaboration with other stakeholders. Now, these are the platform that we provide for the communities, for the people, S.id for the URL shortener, U.id for the single sign-on, and we also have like PANDI Academics or PANDI Foundation. In our case, we call it PANDI Institute. And we also have platform my.id so that people, if they register to the my.id, they can get email, they can get domain name, and they can also get free hosting, which, although it's limited space, but it is still free hosting collaborated with the registrar. And branding is actually an important thing other than just marketing or selling. So in this case, we are actually collaborating with the activists for the script, non-Latin script. So we have our own website to specially designed for the non-Latin script in Indonesia. We also promote the usage of traditional clothes for the women, and we also support the activities to bring our traditional custom to as one of the UNESCO heritage. We also collaborate with other stakeholders such as SMEs and also the ministries and also law practitioners, etc. So we have so many webinars, but in the goal of all these activities is actually to increase the branding of .id to the people. So we do hard selling and we also do soft selling by combining the marketing and also the soft selling by using branding campaign with other activities. I'm sure that most of you also do that, but one of the power in Indonesia is that we have the market, we have the people. But in Russia, you also have so many people, but it's just how can we engage with all those stakeholders so they can see the importance of having the domain name as their digital identity. That's all from me, so I give it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, Юда. Действительно,
Oh, thank you very much, Yudho.
страновых доменов снижается, и они теряют свою долю рынка. И вот как
Until your presentation, we've been discussing that the ccTLDs are declining. They are experiencing hard times, but here is an excellent example of a ccTLD blooming, really flourishing. Are there any questions to the speaker? If not, then thank you very much for joining us today. And
Thank you very much, Spasiba.
to draw the line on this session, I would like to give the floor or pass the, or rather put the question to our panelists. Once again, the trend from which we started our session, the ccTLD decline, is this an inevitability, or it's something that we can control, something that we want and can change?
Наши удаленные участники.
Please use the microphone. Yes, thank you very much. Axel name, we are an accredited registrar in .ru. I think that we are our own worst enemy. We implement prohibitive barriers to domain registration. Yesterday, we discussed that domain names can be registered only via a government platform. If this initiative is adopted, then we will have even fewer domain registrations than before. Very well, thank you very much. Anyone else?
Я благодарю еще раз.
If there are no further comments, I would like to thank all speakers during this panel discussion. Thank you for listening to us and being with us today. Thank you, the AV team. I'd like to thank the translator. And it means that we won back 15 minutes of today's time. We've just added 15 minutes to your evening. I need to get up. I would like to say a huge thank you for inviting me to this conference. This is the warmest, the freest, the most liberating, and the most, the friendliest events that I've ever attended. Thank you so much. Well, yes, thank you. Well, yes, many people do remark that this is quite a cozy conference, but you make it cozy. I mean, our industry is quite tiny. Even if we take not just one country, but a region, but even if you go to the global LICAN conference, I mean, you see people who you know everyone there. It's a small village there, really, and that conference is also it generates a very friendly atmosphere.